Mr. Massiah, what are the most important aspects of the last quarter, which was particularly eventful, and how do you judge the 2016 results?
Number of actions in place in last quarter of 2016 was incredibly huge. In particular, we were finalizing the first phase of the Banca Unica project, the project that is converting from a federal model to a single bank program, the UBI. The first two banks, Banca Regionale Europea and Banca Popolare Commercio e Industria, have been already incorporated mid-November. It was a very, very smooth process. We had claims that were literally one single digit, and it was incredibly smooth, such that we had chosen to go for a single final wave instead of the two additional waves that were foreseen in the plan. And this will happen the 20th of February. So if successful, as we expect, the whole single bank project will be finalized in 6 months, which in my opinion is incredibly good performance. Second, the important set of actions were the one that have driven to the acquisition of the 3 bridge banks. This was a pretty original situation where we were negotiating with authorities instead with private shareholders. But it was complex at the same time. I think that the exit, the problem solving was pretty good, pretty structured, very much appreciated by the market, by institutions and themselves. And we're very optimistic regarding the finalization of, in a successful way, of this acquisition. In terms of 2016 performance, this has been, again, quite an exciting year. First of all, we have published our new industrial plan, and by publishing the new industrial plan in the first half of the year, we have, on one side, used the shortfall, and the other side, posted all the upfront costs that were foreseen in the plan. This obviously has driven in negative area the end result, but we all know that this does not represent the normalized profitability, which is still positive, and we can see this quite as a very cornerstone year, and that will remain in the history of the bank. In terms of economical variables, we have, first of all, been still suffering on the net interest income as all the other banks of the system, but we have to go in deeper detail to understand what happened. While we've been still suffering with quite a negative effect in terms of spread, or if you wish, markup on the lending activity, on the other side, this has been counterbalanced, not enough, but counterbalanced by the significant reduction of the cost of funding, which has driven to what was foreseen in the plan, a higher than 200 million of reduction of cost of funding. This is, in my opinion, good for the future, because this price war on the lending activity cannot stay here forever, and so we are pretty optimistic to recover on that side in the next future. Fee-based activity has been pretty successful. Last quarter in particular was one of the best ever, and this has been driven in particular by the asset management activity. We have gained market share in the asset management, and this has been a clear driver for the increase of the fee-based activity. Costs still very well under control. They were slightly diminishing, notwithstanding we had to absorb the exceptional cost of the resolution fund and the guarantee fund. And in my opinion, last but not least, actually the dessert of this result is the situation in terms of credit quality. I'm pretty proud to say that the new inflow from performing to whatever type of problematic loans have been reduced to 1.3 billion for the whole year, which is very similar to the 1.25 of year 2007. This means that we are almost back to what were the pre-crisis level in terms of inflows. This obviously helps, together with the shortfall initiative that we have taken the first half of the year, to reduce significantly the stock of problematic loans, both in terms of gross book value and of net book value. Stock has been significantly reduced, notwithstanding we have not piggybacked that much in terms of sales of NPLs. So a natural reduction, organic reduction, which means a lot, because this means that we are not giving value outside, and at the same time we are significantly reducing the stock of problematic loans. Good for the future, for sure. Altogether, so quite an exciting year, both in terms of special actions and in terms of management of the bank, and I hope that year 2017 will even be better, which is, in our opinion, what is going to happen.
What sort of time frames and activities can we expect for the conclusion of the procedures to acquire the 3 bridge banks, and what are the next steps?
The signing of the contract that has happened in the first decade of January was obviously a precondition for the closing. Between the signing and the closing, there are some activities that have to be finalized. One of the most important is the sale of non-performing loans to Fondo Atlante. Atlante has already approved in its board the acquisition, and so it's only a question of going for the details and implementing the sale. There are other details that have to be finalized, but altogether we estimate at this day that by mid-springtime this closing part of the transaction will be finalized. This obviously is very important because we already have talked with the people of the acquired banks, and there is a lot of enthusiasm to go back to the normal activity and to demonstrate that what are the real skills and how good they are in interacting with their customers, using our products, using our processes. So we are pushing a lot to accelerate as much as possible the finalization of this transaction, but we're pretty optimistic that, again, by springtime this will be done.